For various reasons, some dudes never find out whether they have Sigma masculine features or not. However, Sigma men do differ significantly from other men in their viewpoint and conduct, and there is no generally correct description of a Sigma man. Any person who is a Sigma may be recognized instantly. If you want to know the signs, here are 12. Simply told, you are a male member of the Sigma species. 1. It doesn't matter whether you're a rich person or a poor person, everyone gets the same treatment. When it comes to their social standing or physical looks, Sigma guys couldn't care less. They don't have prejudices against anybody else based on how they look or act. People of whatever status are treated equally by these people, since they do not acknowledge any social hierarchy. Everyone is treated with kindness and compassion, and there is a staunch dedication to equity and fairness. Everyone has something to offer, no matter their history or level of expertise. They don't have the usual social stratification and cutthroat attitude toward competition that permeates much of the rest of the globe. There is no competition or need to prove oneself among men in the Sigma social group. All they want for is fair treatment in accordance with the law and recognition as complete human beings. They may seem reticent at first, but they have a strong sense of right and wrong and a strong desire to do the right thing all the time. Second, they don't talk much to one another about their everyday activities. Sigma guys tend to be reclusive and guarded, thus they may not disclose much about their life with those close to them. In order to avoid being exploited or duped, they tend to remain to themselves, making conversation difficult. Those who are close enough to a Sigma man to dig into his life are often pleasantly surprised by his depth of feeling and compassion. Those that invest the time in getting to know them have a good chance of developing deep friendships with them, although they are notoriously difficult to break through their first reserve around. They may not be the most extroverted people, but their insights are invaluable. Sigma males are notorious for their aloofness and isolation. They could be difficult to get to know since they like to sit back and take in the world rather than actively engage in it. They may be reluctant to talk about who they are, but they pay close attention to detail and are highly attuned to their surroundings. They are very perceptive and have a deep grasp of social dynamics. Free. They might be leaders in the future, but they aren't trying to get there right now. They possess the traits of a great leader but aren't eager to take on that role. Because they would rather watch from the sidelines than take charge, Sigma males often play supporting characters. They could take charge if required, but they would rather stay in the background and quietly cheer on the achievements of others around them. A leader by example, the Sigma man is seldom seen in the spotlight. It's sometimes said that a single good illustration is worth 1,000 words of explanation. Although he does not have a position of authority, he knows what must be done and is always willing to assist. Males with the Sigma phenotype have the capacity to flourish in leadership roles. Instead of seeking personal glory, they would rather see the collective succeed. Consideration number 4, they aren't like other people. Sigma people are often typecast as oddballs because of their out-of-the-box ways of thinking. Unlike the average person, a Sigma may see several ways to address an issue. They like looking at the big picture, which helps them see chances that others may miss. Their fresh viewpoint helps them stand out, but it also has its limitations. People that have a unique way of thinking yet are misinterpreted by the majority. As far as anybody can tell, they may as well be speaking a foreign language. Individuals with Sigma personalities may read each other's minds just by being in the same room together. It's almost as if they're speaking a secret language that can only be deciphered by insiders. 5. They dislike being told what to do. A Sigma guy will dislike being told what to do by someone who is physically weaker than them. They are quite proud of the fact that they have never required the assistance of another person while making crucial decisions in their lives. They dislike having decisions made for them, regardless of how well-intentioned those decisions may be. When someone else tells you what to do, particularly if it's something you don't want to do, you'll likely resent it. It's not that I think Sigma is inherently terrible. Although men have a reputation for being tenacious, they don't always stick to outmoded or obsolete social conventions out of a sense that they must. Without seeking input from others, they act on their own best judgment. They don't want to blindly accept the existing quo, but instead question it. Since they won't change their minds to appease others, they frequently find themselves at odds with individuals in authoritative positions, which may lead to tension and even conflict. Although Sigmas aren't typically the kind to actively seek out confrontation, they can be counted on to do well when the time comes. They have a high regard for their own opinions and are not afraid to act independently. For the sixth spot, they avoid huge groups of people. Noise and bustle in huge groups may be too much for Sigma males. An alpha may flourish in the same environment, while a Sigma is more likely to take a more low-key approach. People who aren't outgoing often don't like being in the spotlight and, as a result, shy away from social situations where they could be forced to do so. Sigma dudes want to mingle, so they gravitate toward smaller parties. For them, the lack of personal space to think clearly in a group setting might be quite distracting. After being around so many people at once, they need to rest and relax in peace. They just don't have the same limitless passion and vitality for big gatherings as the alpha males. Nonetheless, this doesn't mean that Sigmas can't work in these industries. Really, all it means is that their batteries don't hold the charge as long as those in alpha models do. While the Sigma men may not make for the most interesting conversationalists, they nonetheless bring a lot to the table. Discussions benefit greatly from their thoughtful input and unique viewpoints. The seventh character quirk is that they don't mind how others see them. They are quite upfront about the fact that they have opposing beliefs. They are secure in who they are and don't see the need in defending their preferences or identities. Sigma men aren't concerned with how they come across to others and seldom go out of their way to impress someone with who they are or what they're doing. They care little for what others think and make little attempt to fit in with conventional standards. This will draw attention to them without any further effort on their part. Sigma men often accept their flaws and make no efforts to improve themselves. They are ready for the possibility of opposition and have no intention of trying to convince their skeptics otherwise. They hope that seeming well-liked would win them favor. They take pride in being distinctive and openly embrace it. It is each person's responsibility to pave their own road in life, and most people don't apologize for the choices they make along the way. There are a total of 8 of them, and they all share a quiet confidence and receptiveness to new ideas. People often assume that Sigma men lack self-assurance in social situations. Though shy and reticent, they are open to trying new things. They can adapt easily to new situations and social groups. Despite common opinion, Sigma males are not as introverted as other types. There is always a group of people to hang out with, even if they aren't the most outgoing people. They are flexible and receptive enough to learn something from each event, no matter how unpleasant. They aren't scared of having tough conversations or facing challenging situations. On the contrary, they use their free time to learn about other cultures and ways of life. As a result of their introversion, they are more malleable and accepting of others' perspectives. Although these traits could make some people uncomfortable, the particular abilities possessed by Sigma males make them highly sought after. All of the other 9 are lone wolves at heart. In order to safeguard his most prized possession, his own free will, a Sigma man would risk his life if necessary. They'll do just about everything to avoid being tied down, since they value their freedom above all else. Sigmas, whether they like it or not, need to be able to try new things, come up with original ideas, and think beyond the box. When social norms demand moderation and the vast majority of individuals comply. As a result, individuals may take the time to reflect independently, allowing them to make the most informed choices. They struggle to just go along with things. They prefer to go out in a new direction by themselves. Because they make no effort to blend in, people notice them immediately. Those around them may misunderstand their self-assurance and preference for independence as arrogance or aloofness. 10 like to work alone. Sigma. Working alone is generally a man's preferred method of operation in a job. They like to work alone and come up with their own strategies to solve issues. It's not that they can't get along with others, rather, they flourish when allowed more freedom. They aren't the kind to constantly seek praise from others. They only need a challenging assignment and some alone time to figure it out. While they are willing to pitch in and work with others on occasion, they are at their best effective when allowed to devote their whole attention to a single project at a time. As a result of not having to worry about compromising their career goals for the sake of a relationship, single men may achieve great things in their careers. They do okay without supervision. Many of them are inspired to start their own businesses as a result of this. They want to be on their own so that they can concentrate fully on their projects and not have to deal with distractions. They're fiercely independent yet deeply committed to their inner circle. Those who claim the Sigma identity are sometimes labeled as lone wolves because of their preference for being alone. They don't mind spending time alone themselves or with a small group of buddies. Sigma. Although males may not always be the most outgoing, once they trust someone they are very loyal to that person. They don't rely much on other people, but they treat those they do as if they're important. People in their inner circle know they can count on them when they need help or direction, even if they don't always show it. They put a lot of thought into who they date, and if they discover the right person, the relationship usually lasts a lifetime. They are willing to risk all to protect those they love. Even if they like to be alone, you may discover that they are warm and welcoming once you get to know them. The men of the Sigma fraternity are notoriously introverted. Only a few of really exceptional individuals will do. To rephrase, they may rely on. Don't waste your time with idle chit-chat, they aren't interested. They become bored listening to normal conversation. I was thinking about you and hoping to hear about your weekend activities. While these chats may seem like a terrific way for the normal individual to get to know each other better, Sigma males often find them boring and pointless. Talk that doesn't go anyplace is of no interest to them. They would rather have in-depth conversations on a variety of topics than superficial ones. They care more about ideas than about individuals, and they are open to having conversations with others who have different opinions. They have no interest in gossiping about their coworkers or the latest celebrity scandals. In place of superficial chatter, they choose talks that contribute to their personal growth. Since many Sigma men are also very inquisitive, they like engaging in thoughtful discussions on subjects that both captivate and challenge them. They're not looking for a good time. Their primary goal is to have an in-depth conversation on anything.